Um, some of the barriers was like the consistent ongoing participation and the availability for our caregivers to do like be a part of the learning environment. And transportation was something else if they were needing to get a way to come to the in-person. Um, some of the wins they mentioned was just having the grandparents that are actually interested in participating. And interested in the resources we're offering, saying that some of the tools that we've suggested, and they're actually doing those tools and saying that they're working. Um, the additional research that we've had through Seth, and through ROI, and then just interest from our other team members wanting to incorporate some of the stuff into their programs. Um, how we thought about clearing these barriers was asking how the participants would want to communicate with us and the frequency, whether it was through emails, texting, calling, mailing out things. The incentives, because at the beginning they were very interested at first. They're still somewhat interested, but you never know. The incentives might help. And then Tara mentioned like creating a learning journey, which would include many different ways of engaging with them. And we're still discussing that. So I think something like that might be helpful for us to give them multiple different ways of engaging with us as the team to help provide information to them.
Wow, Ashley, you guys had a really robust discussion in your group, and I would be willing to bet money that all the teams did. So thank you for sharing a little bit about, what Upper Coastal Plain has reflected on in this space. And so with that, keep those reflections close as you move through the rest of our time today. And now I'm going to turn it over to Janine Chen, who will talk to us about change management and sustainability. Take it away, Janine.
Hi, everyone. Great to meet you all officially. I got to join the last session last month and just shadow and hear a little bit about your work. I've enjoyed jumping in on some of the breakout room discussions. And I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit more about change management, as I'm hearing a lot of folks talk about how can we get more people involved in this? How can we get more people interested? How can we get to sustainability? Just so you know who you're talking with, my name is Janine. As it says, I'm calling you from the Bay Area, California. Really excited to be having a touch of North Carolina here. I've been telling my friends who I get together with annually that North Carolina should be our next stop next year, especially from all the wonderful friendliness that you all share. My background, I've been in education for over 15 years now in the education sector. Most recently, I started an ed tech startup company. I was the first employee out of, there's 3 co-founders and me, so 4 of us, and we grew that to 65 employees headquarters, and we were running a substitute teacher company. So we had 7,000 substitute teachers across 7 states that we were working with. So that's a little bit of that scale of buy-in and adoption that I'm bringing to my work and sharing with you all. Just knowing that if you can imagine going from a 4-person organization to 65 and thousands of employees, there's a lot of change that happens there. And there's a lot of bringing people along with you and getting buy-in and building trust. So I'm going to be taking some of that and sharing that with you all. But I will say, so we're going to talk about, we're going to have, it's going to be interactive. We're going to have a lot of different frameworks. The one thing I'll say is, as I've been listening to you all, is it really is about bringing a bit of structure to what you already know. So with that said, I think a lot of the things I've heard you talking about in terms of the barriers and the way to get people to adopt your ideas, your little bets, to grow your little bets, it's all already in there. And I'm just going to bring some structure to help hopefully kind of put some light bulbs on for you all of like, oh, okay, this is what I've been trying to think and couldn't articulate quite right, or this is what it's going to mean for our work moving forward. So with that, trust is a pretty standard thing that, we experience in all different parts of our life, right? We all know something about trust already. And that, I think, is one of the key important things to start with when we think about change management, building buy-in, whether it's for like your solution that you've already figured out, or if it's for getting more buy-in to grow your little bet into a bigger bet. So I want you all to think of someone you trust deeply, put that person in your mind. And we're going to have a Jamboard activity here. So if we can put that link into the chat. I want you to go, it has it also, pull that up. It says these same instructions in Jamboard slide 1. So you're going to think of someone you trust deeply, write down on some sticky notes what they did to build your trust. And you're going to have that on, those are going to be on the slide 2 of the Jamboard. It has a little marble in the corner. The marble is an image. It's from Brene Brown about people building up their, you build up trust by putting marbles in people's jars. So marbles are all the different things that people are doing to build up your trust. And if you don't, if you're new to Jamboard, or it's not something you use a lot, which is me, the sticky note is just on the side here. It looks like a little, you hover over it, says sticky note. Yeah, some folks are putting up some blue ones there. And you just click that and you can type it in and it'll save and put that. So yeah, just take a couple, take like 30 seconds or so to put here as many Post-its as you can, and then we're going to see what themes come up from that. Oh, look like we got a bunch of, I might move some people's stickies. Oh yeah, people are moving the stickies. They're more Jamboard experts than me here. I'm just the change management expert, not the Jamboard one. Nice. And let's think about behaviors as much as you can. Love that we've got some, character pieces, honesty, kindness, grace. But how did you know that they were honest? How did you know they were kind? And when someone is there for you, what does that look like? Kind of get as specific as you can think about. How'd you know they were there for you? And if you're done putting some things in, take another 30 seconds to read what your cohort mates put here. Oh man, so many Post-its. Courtney's gonna get crazy for the next Jamboard. I love the honesty with these. Thank you. Wow, gave me honest feedback about my choices for life partners. Everything in this room will stay in this room. I know I'm a new person. Thank you for inviting me into the vulnerability here, everyone. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I love this. Okay, so we're gonna hit pause and just take a second to read. Like, we've created an art piece here, really. Take a second to read. Tell me, and I want folks to unmute and tell me what themes you're seeing here, if any, on how we build trust.
Honesty looks like a theme, telling the hard truths and holding them accountable.
Yeah, I love that. One more insight, one more theme. I know there's a lot. Go back here. I'm gonna go back to this and just later on my personal time and when I'm feeling down about humanity. See all the ways that people show up. One more theme.
I would say following through and being there.
Yeah, the follow through and the showing up. I love that. Okay, thanks, y'all. We're gonna come back to the Jamboard towards the end, but let me show you this trust equation back on our screen share. Courtney, you can go to the next one. So you'll see a lot of this in the Post-its that we just shared. So we'll think about like what are the places that how do you build trust? And this is kind of an equation of, if you have authenticity, when people are honest with you, are being real with you, when people are showing up, there's that reliability piece and that follow through, credibility, if they've proven that they're somebody that you should listen to. And then it's interesting, it's divided by, it's not real math, just to clarify, this is not, I'm not the data corner here, but it's divided by self-orientation, the meaning that if people think, oh, you're doing it for your own gain, that's going to diminish the trust. And some of this that we're all doing, we're doing it because, for like Wilson, for example, I sat in, you were talking about wellness. Obviously that's for your gain as well. But you can say like, hey, this is for my gain and your gain. And that actually kind of helps to build trust if you are authentic and honest about a little bit of that self-orientation. And some other things that build trust is that vulnerability when you're sharing truth, like the truths that you all shared with this, those post-its, that builds trust and allows somebody else to share something vulnerably. So we just saw that in those post-its, and similarities and shared experiences. We just feel it's human nature, it's biology to feel more comfortable with folks that, we have similarities with too. So those are just some of the things that build trust, but I just wanted to like call them out, categorize them for you. So it's something else, one tool to think about as you're thinking about how do you build trust with folks and kind of get them to come along with you. So thanks, Courtney. If you can go to the next slide. We've been sitting for a long time, and I want to start talking about what are some of those barriers to trust. So, and what are our barriers to trust and to change. So we're going to have a tactile somatic example of this. So if folks can stand up, you don't need to be in screen, but I will be in screen, and cross your arms, however you normally cross your arms. It's like a power stance here. So this is a barrier to change position, right? And now I want you to look at like which arm is on top. So for me, my right arm is on top and my left arm is on bottom. And I want you to try and put the bottom arm on top and cross a different way. Okay, I think I did it. I'm not sure, right? All right, thanks guys. Folks, you can sit down. If you're anything like me, I'm not even sure if I did it correctly. It felt weird. I think I felt like I was missing a piece of arm over something else. Imagine if I told you it was now part of your job to always cross your arms in this new way. What are the odds that you would be able to do it? It's hard, right? Probably pretty low. So I think that's a really good example for us to keep in mind. This is just, we're talking about change and trying something new. Sometimes it's just like the habits and the ways that we're used to doing something, or it's very hard to change from that. So can you go to the next one, please? As I said, also, Kate's like, no. Also the knowledge is in this room already. We talked about some barriers in the last breakout group. So there's in-grade habits, there's absence of trust. There are other things that make change hard for people. So we talked about barriers in the other room. I want us to think about a different kind of barrier, not like necessarily a technical one, like, oh, I just need more time, or I don't have this in my schedule, or my participants don't have it in my actually might be, yeah. So I want you to think about what's making it hard, either for people that people might adopt your change, or that you might get more people interested in your little bets, wherever you are in this process. Just take pen to paper right now and take about a minute to think through what are all your barriers to change for adoption. We're kind of thinking about the people barriers right now. And then I want you to just take a minute, brainstorm that all out, free form, and then prioritize your top 3. And then we're just going to share in small groups on that. Any questions about that?
So if folks are heading into their rooms, I open those for pairs and some reflection. See you in a few minutes. Facilitators are also included, so we invite you guys to join in pairs as well to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, I took myself out of a pair.
It's okay.
I hope somebody's not by themselves or something.
Yeah, it's okay.